For over 3 decades, one man decided who could speak, who could run for office, who could lead a nation of 90 million people. But there was one decision he could not control: his own son. This is the story of a father who spent his final years trying to stop the one thing he couldn't survive to prevent. To understand why this matters, you have to understand the one rule the Islamic Republic was built on breaking. In 1979, Iran didn't just overthrow a king, it overthrew the idea of inherited power. The Shah's monarchy, father to son, generation after generation, was exactly what the revolution promised to end. So when Ruhollah Khomeini became Iran's first supreme leader, and later when Ali Khamenei succeeded him in 1989, the system was designed around a single unspoken law. This office is earned, not inherited. A council of clerics, the assembly of experts, chooses the leader, not blood, not family. For 35 years, Khamenei was the guardian of that rule. Then he had 4 sons, and one of them started rising anyway. Mojtaba Khamenei was never supposed to be a public figure. For years, Iranians barely saw his face. But behind closed doors, he wasn't invisible at all. While his brothers took economic or social roles, Mojtaba moved through the machinery that actually holds Iran together: security agencies, intelligence circles, the Revolutionary Guard. He had 2 problems, though, problems that, on paper, should have ended his chances before they began. First, religious rank. To lead Iran, tradition says you need to be a senior Islamic jurist, ideally a marja, one of the highest scholars in Shia Islam. Mojtaba wasn't even an ayatollah. Second, and more damning, he was the leader's son. In a country that overthrew a monarchy to escape exactly this kind of succession, that fact alone made him radioactive. And according to people close to Khamenei's inner circle, his own father knew it. This is the part almost nobody tells you. In 2024, an Iranian source close to Khamenei's office told Reuters something extraordinary. Khamenei had already indicated opposition to his own son becoming his successor. Not hesitation, opposition. The reasoning, according to that source, wasn't personal, it was structural. Khamenei reportedly did not want to preside over a return to hereditary rule, the very thing the 1979 revolution had been fought to destroy. He understood exactly how it would look to the Iranian public and to history. A supreme leader, chosen by God's law, and a council of clerics, quietly handing power to his own bloodline, like a king. Picture that for a moment. A man who spent his life enforcing ideological purity, who disqualified hundreds of moderate and reformist candidates through the Guardian Council, he controlled, watching his own legacy drift toward the exact hypocrisy he'd spent decades condemning in others. He wasn't losing a political battle, he was losing a battle inside his own house. Here's the irony, underneath the irony. The same system Khamenei spent 35 years engineering to protect the revolution's ideology was the same system that, in the end, didn't need his approval to move toward his son. By 2024, in preparation for what everyone knew was coming, an aging Khamenei had already stacked the assembly of experts with hardliners, disqualifying moderates through the Guardian Council. He built the fortress. He just didn't realize who would eventually walk through the gate, because power in Iran was never only about clerical rank, it was also about who controls the guns. And Mojtaba's real strength was never in a seminary. It was in his relationships with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the security establishment that, over decades, had quietly become the true backbone of the state. When the moment came, it wouldn't be scholars who decided Iran's future. It would be soldiers. On the 28th of February, 2026, U.S. and Israeli strikes killed Ali Khamenei, along with several of his top security advisors. Within a day, Iran's constitution triggered its emergency clause, Article 111, and a 3-person interim leadership council took over: the president, the chief justice, and a senior cleric. Not Mojtaba, not yet. But behind the scenes, something else was happening. According to Iran International, when the Assembly of Experts convened, the IRGC applied direct pressure on its members, described as repeated contacts, and psychological and political pressure pushing them toward one name. A moderate faction fought back. They floated Hassan Khomeini, grandson of the revolution's founder, and even proposed a compromise cleric with no real political power, hoping to avoid exactly what Khamenei had feared. It didn't matter. Fury over the assassination and the war closing in on Iran from every direction pushed the assembly toward the hardline choice. On the 9th of March 2026, just 9 days after his father's death, Mojtaba Khamenei was announced as Iran's third supreme leader, the son, the one his father had reportedly tried to stop. There's something almost Shakespearean about how this ends. A man builds a system to prevent kings. He spends his life purging it of anyone who might bend it. And in his final years, he watches powerless, according to those close to him, as the one loophole he never controlled turns out to be his own family. Some analysts now believe Mojtaba's leadership may not even be permanent, that it could be a transitional arrangement before the IRGC moves toward more direct control of the state altogether. If true, that would mean the revolution's founding promise, no kings, no bloodlines, no inherited thrones, didn't just bend. It broke on the watch of the one man who swore to protect it. He spent 35 years making sure Iran would never have another king. In the end, he couldn't even stop his own son from becoming one.